निवासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते.
Hi guys, two of my favorite sports in the world are mixed martial arts and wrestling. Not WWE style wrestling, actual wrestling, kushti, Olympic style wrestling that is. And it gives me so much joy to today discuss Anshul Jubli, the second Indian ever, second Indian to be born from India and win a UFC contract. UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship, is the biggest, most famous, most popular mixed martial arts organization and promotion that there is. Some other MMA fighters of Indian descent have fought in the UFC, but they have mostly been Canadian. As for being born in India, Anshul Jubli is the second of all time. And the first Indian-born MMA fighter who reached UFC had actually failed a drug test, and that's why he has not fought in UFC ever since I've at least started watching UFC. We'll get into that controversy a little as well. His name was Bharat Kandare from Nagpur. It might have been a mistake on his part, it might have been a mistake on his doctor's part, or it could also may have well been that he thought he will get away with it and he didn't in the end. But first, let's discuss Anshul Jubli. So this is our boy Anshul Jubli. Know all about Anshul Jubli, the new MMA star who bagged UFC contract. Anshul Jubli became only the second Indian-born fighter after Bharat Kandare to bag a UFC contract with a win in Vegas, Las Vegas. Know all about the new MMA sensation. On Sunday, the Indian UFC fans and MMA fraternity around the world woke up to perhaps the new big superstar of the promotion. The prospect is none other than the Indian Anshul Jubli. Anshul secured the contract to feature in the octagon. In boxing, it's called a ring because it's a four-corner thing, and in MMA, it's called an octagon because it's an octagon-shaped ring. In order to bag the UFC contract, Anshul Jubli thrashed Jeka Saragi of Indonesia in the lightweight division at the UFC Apex in Nevada. One problem that Indians face, both Indian women and men, that's why even Ritu Phogat of the great Dangal's Phogat family, she is such a great MMA fighter, but she will probably never fight in MMA because her weight class is so small and so little and so light that weight class does not even exist in UFC. So she has to fight in another MMA promotion called One Championship, which is the third biggest MMA promotion in the world. It's based in Thailand or Indonesia, in somewhere in Southeast Asia. So a lot of Indian men also face that because our body types are different, plus we went through colonization. And Rashmika Sawant, that Oxford girl who got called Nazi and all for saying Jai Shri Ram, she was saying in her podcast with Vad that she actually has data on how our height and weight decreased because of colonization and so many famines and diseases, etc. So this is where Anshul Jubli comes in. He has a great advantage that he is fighting in the lightweight division. The lightweight division is 155 pounds, which is about 72 to 75 kgs. Most Indian men are of the featherweight division or flyweight division and even atomweight. I don't think any men are there in atomweight division, but those two are too light for UFC. UFC has those divisions, but almost nobody watches them. But this guy is in the lightweight division. Lightweight can be said to be the marquee division of UFC because lightweight division became hugely popular after Conor McGregor. You must have heard of Conor McGregor. He's like the Mike Tyson of MMA because even if you have never watched boxing, you know of Mike Tyson's name. So if you haven't even watched MMA, you might know of his name. So Conor McGregor used to fight in featherweight division, then he went to lightweight division. Then his arch rival became Khabib Nurmagomedov, who is probably the highest paid Muslim athlete in the history of mankind. They had a big rivalry going on. In those years, 2017, 18, 19, the lightweight division, the 155 pound division became the most popular, even though earlier it used to be the heavyweight division which was the most popular. Even in every other sport, in boxing, even wrestling, the heavyweight division is the most popular. But in specifically MMA, and because it's so popular all around the world where people can't even fight in heavyweight divisions because their height, body weight structure is not that of a heavyweight in USA by American standards, that's why MMA's lightweight division ends up becoming the most popular in the world. Namaste UFC, we have arrived. India is here. Captain India is here. We have arrived and we are not stopping here. We are going all the way to the top. See what we have just done. First ever Road to UFC lightweight winner from the Himalayas of Uttarakhand, Dev Bhumi from the great country India. So this Road to UFC thing is, Dana White, the president of the UFC, runs a separate competition of sorts where MMA fighters from all over the world who are pro, who are not amateur. Pro meaning they already have gotten a chance to fight for money. Amateurs are who just go to local competitions without any money and fight for without any money. So he is a pro, he has an unbeaten pro record. We'll get into the records later. So he got a call because of defeating some other Indonesian guy or Singaporean fighter to compete in that Road to UFC competition. Any random guy can't even get invited into that competition. So he got there, fought so well, That's why Dana White, who completely believes in meritocracy, he's actually a Republican. He's a big Ron DeSantis fan, and he's friends with Donald Trump as well, because Donald Trump had helped UFC in its early days. So this guy who does not believe in reservation and stuff. Oh, sad little Indian, thoda help kar do bacche ko. He is not of that mentality. If he is giving a contract to Anshul Jubli, it means he is extremely qualified. He's absolutely at par with all other UFC fighters. Hailing from Uttarkashi, Anshul Jubli became only the second Indian-born fighter after Bharat Kandare to bag a UFC contract with a win in Vegas. Anshul is 28 years old and currently presents a perfect MMA win record of 8-0. So he has fought 8 fights, has won all of them. Nicknamed as King of Lions, Jubli will fight in the lightweight division, in which Conor McGregor also features. Standing 6 feet tall, Jubli has the perfect build for a lightweight and a middleweight too, exactly. So it will be interesting to see how the Indian will fare inside the octagon, and who knows, maybe one day he will rise through the ranks to face the division's current champion Islam Makhachev, who is like a brother to Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib's father was the coach of Islam as well. They hail from a place called Dagestan in Russia. And here's some more news about Anshul. Indian MMA fighter Anshul Jubli DMs Dana White with bold prediction about his future. This is UFC president Dana White. Oh, and also another interesting news is that he is signed by the same management company that manages Conor McGregor and Israel Adesanya. These two are the biggest stars in the sport of mixed martial arts. They are managing his career now. Can you believe that? Anshul Jubli is a prime example of how far somebody can go with a specific goal in mind and the fortitude to go after it. The rising star of Indian mixed martial arts recently discussed his journey to the UFC, where he has long aspired to fight. After a convincing victory over Indonesia's Jeka Saragi at UFC Vegas 68, Jubli was awarded a contract with the UFC. He delivered on his promise of a finish. Finish meaning he did not win through a judge's decision. He actually knocked the person out or made them tap. That's called finishing a fight. And the Indian UFC fan base and the MMA community at large took note of the well-rounded skills he displayed. He was also awarded the Performance of the Night honors for the resounding victory. That is unbelievable an achievement. You have no idea how much that means in MMA, and especially in front of Dana White, because Dana judges that Performance of the Night himself. Oh, and guess what? Dana won't give you a Performance of the Night or a UFC contract just because you win that fight on the day of the road to UFC. Do you know that? He will give you a contract only if you are entertaining as well. Because there are lots of ways to win a fight. You can just waste time, hold someone down for long hours and keep the fight going on, and then you win by points. No, that won't get you a contract from Dana White. Dana White gives you a contract only if you are entertaining and you are vicious and brutal and quick on your feet. You have great fight IQ, etc. All of those things are criteria for Dana White. This is Dana White, and that's Mark Goddard, my favorite referee in UFC, in MMA. Anshul Jubli's journey to the UFC was not easy, but he stayed focused and dedicated to his goal. What an era to be an Indian. What a time to be alive as an Indian. We are seeing so much progress, so many exciting things are about to happen in the next few years, so many exciting things are about to happen in the next decade, so many insane things are about to happen in the next century, and now we have our own Indian-born fighter in the UFC. Jubli revealed that in November 2021, he had privately messaged UFC President Dana White assuring him and correctly predicting that he would be competing in the UFC by 2023. India is coming. 2023, a UFC fighter. 2026, UFC champion. Nice ambition. Based on Jubli's forecast, he expects to become a UFC champion by 2026. He wrote, "A promise fulfilled. On to the next one." Dana White, 18 November 2021. "A promise to myself. 4th February 2023, UFC contract." After defeating Jeka Saragi on the road to UFC finals, he improved his professional record to 7-0, while his amateur record still stands at 13-0. And then he went on to predict the upcoming lightweight championship fight between the current champion Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski, who used to be the featherweight champion, but since no one was able to beat him, now he has decided to go up to lightweight division and challenge Islam Makhachev for the belt. Leading up to UFC Vegas 68, Anshul Jubli claimed that he takes inspiration from the likes of Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski, and also wishes to train alongside the top-ranked pound-for-pound fighters somewhere down the line. If he trains with the guys like Islam, Khabib or Alexander Volkanovski, these guys have the best coaches, best training partners, best environment. If he trains with them, so far what I'm hearing from Dana White, if he has given him a contract, Anshul will become an unstoppable force in UFC. Only problem is his age a little, because 30-32 is near the end of his career. He's 28 now, so whatever he has to do, he has to go full gas to the pedal in the next 2 years. This indicates that he must have studied the two fighters extensively and is in a position to predict the outcome of the impending fight between the two competitors, Volkanovski and Makhachev, for the 155-pound championship at UFC 284. The Australian standing as the top pound-for-pound fighter is also at stake. I think Islam should win because he's a bigger fighter, but Volkanovski is very skilled. I think he's the most complete fighter in MMA right now. I truly believe that. He's the most complete and very intelligent. His cardio, meaning lung endurance, is superb and his skills are fabulous. But I think because of the weight advantage and the strength advantage, Islam will take this fight. Actually, that's a good argument because I would predict Islam to win against anyone in the division except Khabib himself, who has retired. But the height and weight advantage over Volkanovski makes sense. Otherwise, I was going to pick Volkanovski, I think. Interesting perspective given by Jubli here. He has great fight IQ and analytical skills as well. So to conclude, guys, I hope you all start watching a bit of MMA now because of Anshul Jubli, and do follow his Instagram channel, YouTube channel, wherever he is. Follow his works, keep supporting him, keep encouraging him in this journey, because a lot of people virtue signal in India saying that, oh, see, you don't watch women's cricket, oh, you don't watch under 19 women's cricket, oh, you don't watch Indian football. I don't see any of those people now screaming Anshul Jubli's name. Make sure you scream Anshul Jubli's name and make Indians take notice of this young man flying our flag in the octagon of UFC.
Jaya Jaya He Mahishasura Mardini Ramya